Magma is molten rock from inside the Earth. It contains many gaseous constituents, which largely escape at the Earth's surface. The basic substance of most magma is silica, CO2. The more silica is contained in the magma, the more viscous the magma becomes, and the more viscous the magma is, the more explosive the eruptions of the volcanoes. The magma from the Earth's mantle can rise directly via hot spots and makes volcanoes arise, such as those on Hawaii. This magma also reaches the surface at divergent continental boundaries, where it becomes basalt rock. The volcanoes that produce basalt are often Hawaiian in their eruption type. At convergent plate boundaries, the so-called subduction zones, the oceanic Earth's crust descends into the Earth's mantle and is partially fused. The material of the fused crust changes the composition of the magma. Water that is transported with the oceanic crust into the Earth's interior reduces the melting temperature of the rocks and increases the gas pressure in the magma. This is another reason for the high explosivity of the volcanoes in the vicinity of convergent plate boundaries. The lava from these volcanoes leads to the production of rocks of andesite, dacite and rhyolite. These types of lava can be formed from basaltic magma if it matures for a long time in a magma chamber. Processes are responsible for the rising of magma from greater depths. The first part of the rise occurs because the molten magma has a lower density than the surrounding plastic rock of the Earth's mantle. If the hydrostatic pressure is balanced, the magma gathers and forms a magma chamber. Due to cooling and crystallization, the gas pressure inside the magma chamber increases until the pressure is so great that the gases escape explosively. The magma rises through the volcanic pipe and the volcano erupts.
In order to find the origins of the athletics, we would have to go very far back in history, because athletics is one of the world's oldest sporting events. In fact, Olympic Games as we know it today developed from the ancient track and field events that vary being held in ancient Greece. However, some historians trace the origins of the athletics back to 10th or even 9th century BC. In the year 776 BC in the ancient Olympia in Greece, the first Olympic Games were held, and during the Games, only one, to use modern-day terminology, track and field event was held, and that was the stadium foot race, and the winner of that event and the first ever Olympic winner was Korobos. Athletics, or rather some of the aspects of athletics, were present at the Pan-Hellenic Games that were held in Greece, and from there the ideas and the main concepts of the athletics spread to Italy around the year 200 BC. During the next several centuries athletics developed in slow steps. However, during the Middle Ages the new wave of the track and field development began. During that time track and field developed in the northern part of Europe. Track and field as we know it today began developing in the 19th century when first competitions in track and field took places. In that time, those track and field competitions primarily were organized by educational institutions, sport clubs and some military organizations. The events organized by these institutions were actually the one that included the hurdle races.
Capital is a term for financial assets, such as funds held in deposit accounts and/or funds obtained from special financing sources. Capital can also be associated with capital assets of a company that requires significant amounts of capital to finance or expand. Capital can be held through financial assets or raised from debt or equity financing. Businesses will typically focus on three types of business capital: working capital, equity capital, and debt capital. In general, business capital is a core part of running a business and financing capital-intensive assets. Capital assets are assets of a business found on either the current or long-term portion of the balance sheet. Capital assets can include cash, cash equivalents, and marketable securities, as well as manufacturing equipment, production facilities, and storage facilities. From a financial capital economics perspective, capital is a key part of running a business and growing an economy. Companies have capital structures that include debt capital, equity capital, and working capital for daily expenditures. Individuals hold capital and capital assets as part of their net worth. How individuals and companies finance their working capital and invest their obtained capital is critical for growth and return on investment.
Rehabilitation is defined as a set of interventions designed to optimize functioning and reduce disability in individuals with health conditions in interaction with their environment. Put simply, rehabilitation helps a child, adult or older person to be as independent as possible in everyday activities and enables participation in education, work, recreation and meaningful life roles such as taking care of family. It does so by addressing underlying conditions, such as pain, and improving the way an individual functions in everyday life, supporting them to overcome difficulties with thinking, seeing, hearing, communicating, eating or moving around. Anybody may need rehabilitation at some point in their lives, following an injury, surgery, disease or illness, or because their functioning has declined with age. Rehabilitation is highly person-centered, meaning that the interventions and approach selected for each individual depends on their goals and preferences. Rehabilitation can be provided in many different settings, from inpatient or outpatient hospital settings, to private clinics, or community settings such as an individual's home. The rehabilitation workforce is made up of different health professionals, including physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech and language therapists, orthotists and prosthetists, and physical medicine and rehabilitation doctors.
Epigraphy, the study of written matter recorded on hard or durable material. The term is derived from the classical Greek epigraphein, to write upon, incise, and epigraphy, inscription. Because such media were exclusive or predominant in many of the earliest human civilizations, epigraphy is a prime tool in recovering much of the first-hand record of antiquity. It is thus an essential adjunct of the study of ancient peoples. It secures and delivers the primary data on which historical and philological disciplines alike depend for their understanding of the recorded past. In a narrower sense, epigraphy is the study of such documents as remains of the written self-expression of early cultures and as communication media in their own right, attesting to the development of visible sign systems and the art of writing as such. Finally, in later periods including the present, in which perishable writing media predominate, epigraphy affords insights into the styles and purposes of monumental or otherwise exceptional techniques of written recording.